According to reports, North Korean leader Kim Jong Un has said that the country will strengthen and improve its economic over time for the next 5 years. Speaking at the ongoing Ninth Party Congress, he called the period a full-scale progress phase and urged reforms in thought, technology and culture to ensure new projects are well managed. Reports indicate that Chinese President Xi Jinping sent congratulations on Kim's re-election as party's general secretary. Meanwhile, Kim's sister, Yo Jong, was promoted to party's department director. We are now being joined by Dr. Sanjay Kumar. Again, thank you for rejoining us back here on NewsX World. Thank you. What economic strategies might North Korea have to pursue to solidify and develop, like they said, its economy over the next 5 years? And how realistic are these goals given ongoing sanctions and isolation?
Ali, although it is the Ninth Congress, but I personally think that it is a kind of defensive pragmatism that Kim Jong Un is trying to put it out. But in reality, this doesn't look working because it's a liberal market order in the entire world. So when you talk about when you try to centralize the entire system, which is indeed centralized in case of North Korea, so they are trying to once again reiterate and through this Congress that they are going to come up with a consolidated economic plan, which is already in the ninth phase. I mean, ninth economic year plan means ninth phase. But how it is doable when the markets are not designed in that way? In the liberal market world, if you see, sufficiency is one thing. All this under this Juche ideology that they try to maintain there and they try to be resilient. This does not looks working because you have to interconnect many markets, and unfortunately, even if you see the Chinese interconnectivity, they have not been leveraged so far. If you see the North Korean products in China, it's very limited. It is not on a large basis, and being a neighbor of North Korea, I mean like-minded neighbor, you don't see North Korean products or North Korea made in North Korea things popularly being sold in China. So where are those markets? If you see another like-minded country, then it's Russia. But I don't know how they are going to manage with them when it comes to market strategy thing. So it is a defensive pragmatism where regime is more important, political messaging is more important than acting upon the lens of economic security. So I see in that way. It's a defensive pragmatism.
And what domestic challenges such as infrastructure, food security and labour productivity could undermine their 5-year economic plan?
Although their situation is vulnerable, it is well known, without engaging international markets to them, it looks very impossible, or I should say closely impossible to thrive. If you see the domestic situations, the agricultural resources and the human resource utilization or the tech resource utilization, on all these fronts, North Korea has somehow failed to utilize this. And it is because the central planning aspect and over dependency on the political messaging and all these things. Although this time Kim Jong Un is trying to change the optics, and he's trying to give a different kinds of message where it should be re-established or established that look, we are changing and we are becoming enough self-reliant. But because of this underutilization in North Korea, there the chances are very slim that there would be any resilience.
And How might this development phase impact inter-Korean relations and diplomacy, especially if they prioritize internal economic progress over talks with Seoul or Washington?
See, if prioritizing is another thing and execution is another thing. If North Korea is seriously is interested in executing the plans that they have mentioned to achieve this economic development, they need outside parties, and they need who can be the best. I mean, who can be better than South Korea? So there is a need to engage South Korea on this front. But unfortunately, if you see the entire political messaging, I would say there is no mention of South Korea and not even mention of the US. So, first ideally they should engage with South Korea, and South Korea is a bridge to US and different markets, and many problems can be resolved. But they see South Korea as a security threat and also as an enemy they have declared. So if you see these things, then any neutral person would be passive and would be not positive about North Korea. So that these are the regions that increases the vulnerability in the north. So I see it as a political messaging and just a change in optics, because they are trying to send a message that look, we are trying something on the ground as well to achieve economic development. But economic development has become a very interconnected terminology in this global world. Without engaging liberal economies, without engaging different economies, without changing your perception, you cannot achieve economic development, and that has to be taken care of when it comes to the regime or the administration in North Korea.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. We currently are coming at you with some more breaking news. North Korea's Kim Jong has been promoted to full department director in the Workers' Party, state media report. The move comes as her brother, Kim Jong Un, was re-elected as party secretary general, extending his 15-year rule and solidifying his power. The party congress sets the country's economic agenda for the next 5 years, promising a full-scale progress phase to revolutionize thought, technology and culture. Kim Jong is expected to lead propaganda and inter-Korean relations, while attention also focuses on Kim Jong Un's teenage daughter, Kim Joo, who is emerging as his heir apparent. Thousands of party elites packed Pyongyang for the once in 5 years summit, highlighting North Korea's continued focus on diplomacy, military and economic strategy. North Korea's Kim Jong has been promoted to full department director in the Workers' Party, state media reports. The move comes as her brother Kim Jong Un was re-elected as party secretary general, extending his 15-year rule and solidifying his power. The party congress sets the country's economic agenda for the next 5 years, promising a full-scale progress phase. To revolutionize thought, technology and culture, Kim Jong is expected to lead propaganda and inter-Korean relations, while attention also focuses on Kim Jong Un's teenage daughter, Kim Joo, who is emerging as his heir. We're now being rejoined by Dr. Sanjay Kumar. Thank you for joining us back here for this breaking news story. What could this mean for North Korea as Kim Jong Un promotes his sister as department head?
See, it's a political exercise that they had been doing since many years. If you see the last 6-7 years, the political optics of the North Korean regime had been revolving around his sister, I mean Kim Jong Un's sister and his daughter. So these political messaging is done deliberately with with an objective. And if you see how authoritarian regimes work, they have this agenda, they have this kind of a strategy in the background, and they follow these agendas and strategies in the form of optics. You can see any other countries, or you can relate it with other authoritarian regimes as well. But North Korea has its own style of doing, and this is also one of them. But it's very identical. So we should not take it as a surprise, because there is it is not a democracy where the optics would always change, or um, optics won't matter a lot. That is why we should not take it as a surprise.
And how does Kim Yo Jong's promotion impact power dynamics within North Korea's leadership?
See, that is very critical right now, because she looks very aggressive. Sometimes, she's being seen even more aggressive than Kim Jong Un and the former leaderships, because the way she tries to do the political messaging, it is very direct and sometimes very blunt, and you can say heavy loaded comments, where she tries to say that any any sort of confrontation would be not just replied back, but replied back through uh, more heavy prices. I mean, words such as playing with fire kind of things. So this intensity that her words have is definitely is going to affect the power dynamics here, because when you have such person as leadership, not the highest, but in among the higher leadership, you are likely to see many such escalating comments that may uh, affect the security and power dynamics in the Northeast Asia, and that is why it is critical. But from South, I mean, from Republic of Korea's perspective, here the leadership and the entire government here looks very determined to engage North Korea and talk North Korea through dialogue, and not reply with the same intensity that they try to. So for South Korea, I'm sure it is going to be a kind of stable thing, but we never know how other countries in the region are going to react on this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, for also coming back here for this breaking news. That's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.